Happy New Year! Welcome back, guys. We are doing a 2020 year in review. So we'll have the best of, maybe a little not so best of clips showing you of the past year, things we've done, maybe a little something at the end showing what we have planned for the upcoming year in 2021. And let's go. All right, guys, so this is where we started out our year of 2020. We took a trip for my birthday to the Streetcar Takeover in Bradenton, Florida event. This was the first event of the year, I believe, regarding the Streetcar Takeover series. We went down, we had quite a bit of trouble with belt squealing and things happening with the transmission, so it wasn't a great time as far as doing well. We met some cool people, but this is where we started. Well, that didn't really go as planned, so we decided to take a little bit closer look at the car, see what we could figure out. It turns out that we were having some issues with the blower, so we reached out to Kong Performance, and because we were shipping the blower out for repair, we decided we might as well move forward with the next round of modifications and have the blower ported. We also purchased the ZL1 lid, the 1300cc injectors, as well as the auxiliary pump, so that way we can install the E85 sensor. Once everything was received, we reached out to Vengeance Racing and brought the car for another tuning session. And from there, we were able to get into a private test and tune with Rockingham to test everything out.
That 10.8 was a hell of a pass, fastest the car in Sharon had ever been. We knew there was a little bit more in it, but we were riding real high. Everything was great. We were excited and ecstatic, so we wanted to call it a day there, come back to the track the next weekend, and see if we can go after it a little bit more. Unfortunately, something we haven't really talked about and I haven't made mention of is the day before this track session we were at, my father had gotten tested positive for COVID-19. He had type 2 diabetes, kidney cancer as a result from 9/11, and we were kind of worried about him. So we didn't go back to the track next weekend, and right after that, on April 13th, my father lost the battle with COVID and he passed away. So that kind of put a hold on everything for a little while. But he always wanted us to keep racing. He loved Sharon racing, always said, you know, you can never separate a woman from her Cadillac. So we took a couple months off, and then we went back to the track on the 31st of May. We left off there at 10.8, and we were just trying to go a little bit faster, playing with tire pressures, trying to see if we can get it to work out a little bit better. And I apologize for the camera angle, but this was a friend of mine that took the video. I was busy pushing another race car back to the pits and had to run back there just to see it. But here you go.
Sent word to the station that all our shootout cars except for two. Look at this Cadillac in the right lane.
Ooh, 1063.
One of the different and kind of cool things I got to do this year is to do a gender reveal for a couple at Rockingham Dragway. And as you can see, it's going to be a boy. So over the next few months over the summer, we tried a few different things. We tried some short track racing. We went to Piedmont and Nahunta, as well as Pageland in South Carolina, to try some 8th mile bracket racing, just to try and dial the car in just a little bit more and just to get some more seat time. After that, we found out that our cruise was getting canceled. So we decided to try our hand at Race Week, being they were adding a second one for 2020. And from there, we were off to prep for that.
Alright, so we're all prepped and we're now down at Rocky Mountain Race Week. This is by far one of the funnest things that we have ever done.
Absolutely, by far.
Definitely going to try to do this as many times as we possibly can. But we started out Tulsa. We have a whole series of the Rocky Mountain Race Week stuff, but we just had an absolute blast doing this entire program. And we actually did manage to get a personal best, just barely beating out the 10.635, but we still beat it out. In Topeka, Kansas, met some really awesome people, and actually we did this run, which was the new personal best of 10.611, with help from the guys from Misfire Motorsports and Team Real Street. We stole their ice and put it in our ice tank because we thought, guys running 7.7 Supras, we can use their ice and we're going to actually go faster. And it kind of worked. 10.63 is the best she's ever been able to accomplish.
10.63. Try this every day.
So on the way home from Race Week, we kind of reminisced and talked about all the things that we loved and that we definitely want to do it again. But unfortunately, we were kind of stuck at that 10.6 mark. So I did want to go faster. So we pulled the trigger and decided to get the wheels and skinny front tires. Unfortunately, they were not in time to prep for Streetcar Takeover at Rockingham. So the first time using them was, of course, at Streetcar Takeover. The good thing is I did get my first elimination win doing the roll racing. But from there, we had a decision to make.
Just a little bit. Here we go.
So after that roll race win, next day was dig racing. We put Sharon in the lanes for the 11.0 class. Unfortunately, there was a bunch of track downs, so we couldn't do too much testing. But we were hoping with the addition of the skinny front tires that she'd get a better reaction time and she'd be able to dial it back from the 10.6s, 10.7s that she'd been running down to the 11.0 and just kind of play to the field. Unfortunately, for some, I don't know what reason, we still haven't figured it out yet to this day. When she launched, and you're watching the video right now, when she launched, she had the best 60-foot, the best launch, best 8th mile of her life. She was on track to get probably a 10.3 or a 10.4 pass, which is the fastest that car has ever gone, but she let out, slammed on the brakes, and still wound up breaking out. So after this disappointment, we decided as a team that we are no longer going to be doing any index racing. It's going to be going heavyweight class, 17-inch tire class, or just whatever class we can fit in that doesn't have a quarter-mile time restriction, and we're just going to go for it there. But in order to do that, we needed to order some more parts.
So after this, I was pretty mad, not going to lie. I still kind of am. But we decided collectively to push forward and just complete this round of modifications before we went big with heads and cam. That would be the 9.1 lower, the 103 Nick Williams throttle body, the 5-inch DDP intake, and then a trunk tank. And so we got everything, got it installed just in the nick of time, of course, for our tuning appointment with Vengeance. They did their thing, did a great job as usual, and wound up making some pretty big power. From there, we decided to take advantage of Atlanta Dragway's test and tune that they were having while we were down there. It turns out that we had some issues with the trunk tank, leaking some water on the track. So that was a little frustrating, but we seemed to get that all under control for the most part. And we wound up getting into a private test and tune at Rockingham once we got back that week. So from there, we were able to try and dial in the car because we had to relearn the entire car at this point, and wound up getting personal best and finally breaking into the nines. And we are still, of course, learning the car. So at this point, we will be continuing to work on it and hope that we can build on that for next year. Holy crap! A 139 60 foot.
Yep.
Holy crap! A 636 eighth mile. 109 again in the eighth. 992 with a 9 at 139. All right, guys. So now for what's coming up in 2021. There's a few things coming. There's a nice little surprise for our girl here that we're going to keep a secret for a little while longer, but very exciting. We will be looking into getting a parachute mount for the car. I know I don't need one, speed-wise, not yet anyway, but we plan on doing at least one race week, the 2.0. We know we can get into that one because we did that one last year, so we should have first dibs. But we are also going to try and do the first Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is the one that goes through like Vandermeer and Pueblo. I believe it starts in Great Bend this year, so that's going to be super fun if we can get in. But because we have the addition of the trunk tank, we kind of lost some room there. So we are going to fashion a trailer hitch from the parachute mount, so that way we can have a trailer to have all our stuff for both events, or at least the one. Also, we will hopefully be getting some work done on this bad boy right here for the hubs to partake in some racing. We are also going to be doing hopefully quite a few events, of course, depending on the COVID situation. But again, the 2 race weeks, we are going to do at least a couple of the streetcar takeovers, the one in Charlotte and the one in Rockingham, the local track. We're going to try and do, I think we wanted to do Bristol, and possibly the one in Atlanta. And we also have a to be announced series at our local track at Rockingham that if we can get into that, that should be a lot of fun as well. But that's what we have coming up for next year. And we look forward to getting some more personal bests and having a lot of fun, and hope you enjoy and come along with us. Have a great new year.